Okay. That was not it.
That was pretty weak.
I don't see any red up.
It doesn't work.
Oh.
Speak up.
Speak loudly. In that case, then. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission for Tuesday, August 19th. We got a pretty full agenda this evening. I do ask before we get started, if you are here to have any kind of public inquiry, please listen to what it is that we're going to open public hearing to, because there's a lot of repeats and it's specific to each thing. So as I say it, I'll make sure that everybody understands what we're going to be opening the hearing about. And so I just ask that you pay attention and carefully listen to what it is that you are going to come up and talk about. We do have an established quorum this evening, and I'm looking for the approval of minutes for June 17th, 2025.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of June 17, 2025.
I have a motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Hearing none. Recognizing persons not on the agenda this evening? Seeing none. Any conflict of interest or ex parte contact declarations, Commission?
Negative.
Negative. Perfect. That drops us down to our public hearing this evening. Our first item tonight is an action item to annex and rezone. To annex and zone R4 Open Door Rentals Endurance Holdings. It's a request by Bonnie Layton of NV5 on behalf of Open Door Rentals LLC, Endurance Holdings LLC, to annex and zone to R4 a 40-acre parcel of land and all of that portion of Smith Road that fronts this parcel. The parcel is located north of and adjacent to Smith Road, east of the adjacent to Autumn Road, and west of Southwest Rolling Hills Avenue and Mountain Home, Idaho. Brenda.
Okay, yeah. So this is an annexation for 40 acres. That, if approved for annexation, it will become a part of the Blue Yonder West subdivision. That will be a public hearing after this. You can see its location is here, again, Smith Road, near Autumn. So it has, the applicant has requested the annexation in writing, and it does meet state requirements, and the notification and publications have been sent out per state, per statute.
Okay. Before we continue, Southwest Autumn, we've had this conversation before in the past, and according to my maps, it's also Southwest Avalon. So does Autumn run into Avalon, or is Google Maps just like, I don't know what to call it?
Mr. Chair, as far as I know, and as far as the signs on that street say it is Autumn.
It is Autumn Avenue. Okay, perfect. With that, then, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. And again, this is just for an annex and rezone. Nothing else, just annex and rezoning. So, anybody who would like to speak to the annex and rezoning? Okay, I will go ahead and close the public hearing on that. And I'll have, are you?
I'm the applicant.
Fabulous, you're the applicant, come on up. Talk to us about the annex and rezoning.
Okay. Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for your time this evening. My name is Bonnie Layton. I'm a senior planner with NV5. My office is located at 690 South Industry Way, Suite 10, Meridian, Idaho, 83642. And so I'm here tonight on behalf of the property owner to request your recommendation for annexation and designation of R4 for the property. As you can see from the map on the screen, this parcel would actually be part of a larger project that, should you recommend approval of annexation tonight, we'd like to go forward and also request your approval for a planned unit development and preliminary plat. So the parcel that we are looking at, and just for the record, let me state, so it's parcel number RP03S06E356610. So it's the southern portion of our project. The northern portion of our project has already been annexed into the city. So this qualifies as a eligible for annexation. We're adjacent to the city limits on the northern boundary and the southern boundary of this parcel. And we are requesting an R4 designation as part of an overall larger project. We believe that this request fits within the comprehensive plan, which designates this parcel as residential, and is planned to be submitted to.
Perfect.
With that, I can stand for any questions.
Commissioner, you have any questions about the annexing and zoning of R4? Okay. Look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, make a motion to approve annexation for Open Door Rentals Endurance Holdings for the parcel as stated, PZ 25-11.
Have a first by Rob.
Second.
Second by Billy. Rob, start with you.
Is it Rob?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yay.
Aye.
Aye.
It's been a while.
I thought you called me Billy Bob.
No, that's Billy.
All right.
You are Rob.
It's
I was
gifted
very
and talented,
confused.
remember that.
All right, so aye.
Got a gifted crew up here tonight. Billy?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, very perfect. And I is in front of you as well. Motion passes.
Start over.
Okay.
Start over.
All right.
Apologize.
Second item this evening is the rezone to an R4 for a planned unit development, Blue Yonder West Subdivision, Open Door Rentals Endurance Holding. Please bear with me as I read War and Peace. It is a request by Bonnie Layden of the NV5 on behalf of the Open Door Rentals, LLC, Endurance Holding, LLC, to rezone to R4 planned unit development for the Blue Yonder West Subdivision. The development will consist of a total of 398 lots and will provide for a mix of lot sizes ranging from 34 to 92 feet in width, providing a total of 376 dwelling units. The development will consist of 11.45 acres of common area open space designed and landscaped with drought-tolerant planting, a large park, several micro-pathways, as well as a variety of pocket parks, playgrounds, and tot lot areas and sport court. The applicant is seeking deviation from the bulk and coverage standards. The parcel The parcels comprising this development are located north of and adjacent to Smith Road, east of the adjacent to Autumn Road, west and south of Southwest Rolling Hills Avenue, and west of Edward Street. Brenda.
Thank you, sir. So that's it in a nutshell. So this development will consist of two parcels. So the PUD will include this parcel here, which is approved for annexation, and then this parcel just above it, which is an additional 24, I think, 0.66 acres. As mentioned, this R4 planned unit development will consist of a minimum lot size of 3,400 square feet with a range of up to 13,317 square feet, a minimum street frontage of 34 feet with interior side setbacks of 5 feet. In addition, the applicant is requesting to modify the street section reduced to 36 feet from back curb to back of curb. The development will consist of 11.45 acres of common open space designed and landscaped with a drought-tolerant planting, a large park, several micro pathways, and a variety of pocket parks, playgrounds, tot lot areas, and sports courts. The Blue Yonder West will be built in phases of approximately 30 lots per phase, depending upon market conditions at the time. And there is a phasing plan attached in your packet. The property to the north and east are both zoned R4 properties. To the west and south are outside the city limits of Mountain Home. And the property is designated for residential use in the future land use map. All structures will conform to the PUD agreement. The applicant is seeking deviations from bulk and coverage standards of the range of lot size requirements, minimum street frontages, and the interior minimum side setbacks as shown in the project narrative. The applicant is seeking approval to exceed the 900 feet with traffic calming measures as bulb outs and T intersection. They're proposing a natural landscape and permabark in the largest open space, and is proposing permabark in all other open space areas, including stormwater areas. Open spaces in block 15, lot 13, block let me start that again. Open spaces in block 15, lot 13, and block 12, lot 19 will contain only permabark. All other open spaces will contain trees, shrubs, cornmeal grasses, accordingly as shown in the landscape master plan. Per city code, stormwater landscaping, the minimum requirement states that all stormwater retention facilities shall be planted with grass appropriate to the function of the area. The areas to be used for active recreation shall be turf-type grasses and irrigated with permanent irrigation systems. Areas to be maintained for habitat enhancement shall be seeded to native grasses and wildflowers. The property owner shall establish a complete weed-free stand of grass. Bell corridors may be seeded with native grasses if appropriately integrated with the adjacent improvements, but Public Works has no issues with the request for the substitution of the farm barn for grass. The development schedule for the planned unit development agreement states the intent of the applicant to commence site development as soon as possible after engineering approval, with the goal of completing all civil improvements and recording the plat within the timeframes permitted by code. Vertical construction other than model homes shall finish thereafter in multiple phases of approximately 30 lots per phase and continuous pace driven by market absorption. The history of these parcels have been historically vacant. So for additional information, the fire review, fire had identified the two parcels on the north end. Let me pull that plot. So these two parcels here will not be developed until the very end, until such a time they will be a turnaround or hammerhead for fire to get in and out there. And so also, so those will be non-buildable until such a time as Crestview Avenue is extended to the north. Fire has minor street naming issues, but nothing else, and those have all been addressed. The building department commented regarding the street name. There is an existing Desert Sage Drive, but the streets have been renamed and are now compliant by also adding the southwest designation between before all street names. Let's see, so just for informational purposes regarding building permits, from January of 2025 to July, we have had 75 building permits, and there have been, so totaling approximately 170 EDUs have been issued since January. So 71 of those were single-family homes, 6 of them were 24-unit apartments, 1 30-unit apartment, and 2 fourplexes and 4 manufactured homes. The applicant did submit a traffic impact study, and their original submittal was for 344 homes, but because they came back to us by putting in a sewer lift station, they wanted to add an additional, I believe, 37 lots. So there's a 376, but that information has been given to ITD. They had no additional mitigation issues with regards to the traffic impact study, so they are aware that it has enlarged those 37 lots. So some of the improvements that they did recommend were to improve the stop bar visibility on the Smith Road approaches, to install advanced stop-ahead warning signs and pavement markings on Smith Road approaches, to install advanced intersection warning signs on State Highway 51 approaches, and State Highway 51 and Smith Road intersection warrants a southbound left turn lane based on the ITD turn lane guidelines. So, as I mentioned, ITD is aware of the increase in the number of lots. So water and sewer infrastructure currently is not adjacent to this parcel at this time. The infrastructure for Blue Yonder West subdivision is proposed to connect to the infrastructure that will be developed in the adjacent subdivision of Blue Yonder and the Rolling Hills subdivision, so they will connect to both. And then additionally, there will be, I believe, a water line along Smith Road. So, and at this time, Blue Yonder is in various stages of approval for final plats for Blue Yonder 2, 3, and 4, and those will be moving forward soon. Per the code review, a 16-inch water line will be installed along Southwest Smith Road, Double Brook Way, and Crestview Avenue with stub outs to Autumn Road. for future development, and stub outs for sewer are also noted in the review and will need to be shown in the development plan. So with this development, in this lower corner, they're going to be installing a sewer lift station. And so once the sewer lift station is designed, constructed, and in place, it will be ownership under the city.
That was a lot.
There's more.
Okay.
But wait,
So she's only
But
halfway
wait,
through.
there's more.
There's more. So with this development, there will be a $2,000 per acre water rights fee that will be paid at the time of preliminary plat. The annexation will have that, those water rights for that 40 acres paid at the time of annexation. Impact fees will be subject to what's in place at the time of building permit issuance. It is in compliance with the comprehensive plan for housing, for workforce housing. And single-family homes are the highest priority for all age groups with regards to the development. But it also does cite that the city's goal is to promote a variety of housing choices, and because of the varying lot sizes, that does meet that requirement. So again, the notification responses have been sent according to who? And I think that now.
Perfect.
Pardon me, there is one more thing. So we did have a conversation today. In your packet is the Keller letter. We did have a meeting in regards to note 2 under wastewater. There was some miscommunication as to where those were going to connect and flow from and to. So Keller is looking at that again today, so we would ask that as part of the recommendations at the end that it comply with the review from Keller to be approved in the development plans. And that is all, folks.
Perfect.
Beep, beep, beep.
I do want to say it is extremely refreshing to see a development come through with single-family homes. It's been a while since we've seen a bunch of single-family homes instead of fourplexes and duplexes and things, so it is refreshing to see those. With that, I'll go ahead and bring up the applicant.
to see a mix, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you again, commissioners, for the record, Bonnie Layton, as previously stated. So tonight I'm here to request your recommendation of approval of our planned unit development and preliminary plat for Blue Yonder West. I think Brenda did a fantastic job, and actually all of staff in working with us to review our application and work through the requirements. So appreciate your time this evening, as well as the time that staff has spent. As just some highlights, as Brenda had mentioned, this is about a 65-acre parcel of land adjacent to the current Blue Yonder project that we are developing. And really what we're here tonight to do is look at developing this into 376 dwelling units of varying lot sizes and configurations. That equals just 5.81 dwelling units per acre, which is in line with the city's comprehensive plan. And as Brenda mentioned, in terms of providing a variety of housing types for the community. So this map here just demonstrates for you generally where we're speaking. Of course, we've got Smith Road along our southern boundary that'll connect it to the highway to the west, and then also South Fifth West to the east of us. Those are kind of the main thoroughfares, and you can see up on the northern area, airbase road there that kind of moves you through town and out to the airbase. You can also see on the map, we've sort of superimposed where some of the other residential lots in the current Blue Yonder are being developed. Next slide, please. It's being finicky, is it? This is a better idea of this. So as I mentioned, what we did actually, one of the things is really, providing connectivity for the roadways that connect to adjacent development. That's a requirement. We have a couple of step streets. Maybe if you can go to the next slide, Brenda, so we can see that. So north is to our left on this image. We've got 2 step streets to the north that will be planned to connect through once the property to the north develops. In the meantime, as Brenda mentioned, due to the distance at that northwestern corner, we will have to provide just a temporary hammerhead so the fire truck can get down there and turn around. Very typical. It's not needed on the other side, as that step street doesn't exceed that 150 foot depth. Also adjacent on our eastern boundary, so we're adjacent to the existing development. We've worked with staff. We will be building some park area that's on our eastern boundary that will also have a fiber optic hub that has to go in there. That was another requirement. And so we're locating that in an area that's easy for city staff to get to. Eventually that will be built and then given over to the city. And then also, again, just sort of trying to maximize the efficiency of the parks in this area. We've got some park space for that. As Brenda mentioned initially when we looked at this project, there was a large portion that not serviceable from sewer, and then it was determined we were going to need a lift station, so that prompted the slight increase in number of residential lots, but it makes it more efficient and makes putting in the infrastructure more cost effective in terms of being able to spread that cost over the number of lots. We will be developing that lift station, and then it will be turned over to the city. Of course, we'll have to do that with staff oversight and all the regulations in place. So we do have a number of different lot sizes, as Brenda mentioned, some pocket parks. We're really trying, though, we understand the water situation here. And so if you drive out to our community that's already under construction and look at the plans for this, we're really trying to do a more drought-tolerant landscape. Still provide for some areas that can have some green spaces, but recognizing that it's important that we conserve water. The lots, again, one of the requests that we have made in the bulk standards, and this is really just drawing off of our experience from other communities around the Treasure Valley that we develop in. We're requesting some different lot sizes under the PUD ordinance that gives us the ability to make those requests. And it also helps lets us provide some additional lot variations and home styles. The reduced setbacks from a 12-foot side yard to a 5-foot still meets fire code. So from the property line, the building's still going to be 5 feet from the property line. That's in compliance with fire code. But what we see with a lot of our home buyers is those side yards get big, they're not really usable, and then they're either kind of a maintenance nightmare, and our home buyers would rather have the space in the homes or more space in the backyard. We can make the homes a little bit wider, and then maybe they've got some more space in the backyard. So it's a typical request. Most communities that we build in, a 5-foot side yard is the standard, and we find that that works really well. Let's see, as Brenda mentioned, we have ample open spaces that comply with the code. And let's see if we want to turn to the architecture. So A number of, a large majority of the lots are, very traditional, single-family homes. We do have some alley-loaded homes that are narrower lots that you will see in this image here. Next slide. Here's some more of our more traditional, single-family detached, front-loaded garages. Next slide. And, some more examples of that. That's the final slide. There we go. So really just trying to provide a mix of housing and architectural styles that are kind of traditional to the region and consistent with what else is being built in the area. And so with that, I'm happy to stand for any questions.
Actually, I'll go ahead and have you step back, and I'll open it up for public hearing. All right, so I'm going to open it up. This is for a rezone to an R4 planned unit development. And I'm sure many of you may have questions or concerns about certain things within the development. And at this time, if you would like to go ahead and come up and share those concerns or anything you would like to share. So please make sure you remember to state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Sandra Krosno. I live at 1335 Southwest Rolling Hills Avenue. I have serious concerns. Recently, we had a fire behind my house. When the fire started, we all tried to put the fire out with garden hoses. We had no water pressure, none. If it wasn't for the fire department getting there so quickly, our houses would have burned to the ground. It did burn our fences. It did enter part of our yards. It was a nightmare. Within a matter of seconds, it went down from the very last house all the way down 3 houses past me. I am the 3rd house from where they're going to be building on Southwest Rolling Hills Avenue in that lot there. So I have concerns that I have had the water pressure tested and it comes out fine, but all my neighbors have the same issue we have, low water pressure, and you never know when it's gonna hit. It's a hit or miss. They ask, well, are you running your dishwasher? Are you flushing the toilet? No, none of the above, and we still get low water pressure. So that's very concerning to me to keep building and building and building, when we still don't know why the low water pressure and what are we gonna do about fire. Fire scares most of us that live over there after having that experience. And within a matter of seconds, it was all the way down to the back of our fences and to part of our yard and about 35 feet out into the open field. And so that's a huge concern. And we also have huge concerns about infrastructure. Fire, police, ambulance, that's the other concerns that myself and my neighbors have as well. And I think it's something to take into great consideration. I don't know anybody who'd want to live in a new home and have it burn. So we're very, very grateful to the fire department that they got there when they did. However, they also had trouble getting back there because neighbors tend to put trailers where they don't belong. So I think the city needs to take a look at that as well and make sure that those accesses are not blocked. Those are our concerns.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you.
Did you put your name on the?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, great.
Anybody else?
Just wanted to make sure we're still recording.
Yeah.
Gonna hand these to.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Should we have put him on the agenda?
No, because he has 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
This is public input.
Okay.
Try to keep it short, since I only do have 3 minutes, but I've given you all a copy of a presentation that I have been working on.
Before you continue, can I get a name and address, please?
Sorry, Brendan McCarthy, 890 East 14th North. As I was stating, that this is a presentation that I've been working on with the Impact Fee Advisory Committee. We had some concerns about Smith Road and the developments occurring on that side of town. And the fact that we were not collecting anything, even though it's clear to see that development in that area is causing growth and more cars on the road. The biggest thing I want to show, again, with a little bit of time, is on page 6, you will see the future outlook and growth. This shows the main, collecting our roads on this and showing the entrances and out of that area. We all know the infamous South 5th West, how much traffic we have in there. Also with Haskett and Air Base Road. But Smith Road kind of seems to go unnoticed. On the next page, you'll see from our master transportation plan is currently a category B. So the reason I bring this up is my concern with this development is we have 376 dwelling units. In our city, we usually put for parking space 2 car spaces per door handle to cover what the typical household of 2 cars. So you're talking about, when this is built out, having potentially 750 cars just in this development, including the original Blue Yonder, Morning View, North Silverstone. All of these cars are adding up, and we're not looking at infrastructure to help keep up with growth. Growth should be contributing to what their impact is. The numbers that I was able to get from ITD on the next page will actually show you a annual average daily trip count that they did in 2023. You'll notice with the Haskett intersection, it was passengers were 1,650. And we all know the story with Haskett and the concerns and the want to put a light there. Our Impact Advisory Committee had a meeting earlier and ITD attended, and there is some problems with that of trying to get that approved and everything, especially the distance. But I bring this up because the numbers that they have for Smith intersection is 1,000 right now. And this was before we started adding everything down in that area. So my concern is, as a resident, chairman, Impact Lead, is if we're not collecting or we're planning for these things, who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for the impact? We already have this. According to our master transportation plan, Haskett is a category F. It's a failing intersection, and we don't even have a light there. So we're going to be behind the ball on this. Like I said, 750 cars, 2 trips a day. You're talking 1,500 trips in a day potentially. And going through the TIS, I was concerned as it was 1 day taken in July. Nothing like this. And the assumption was that 50% was going to head westbound out to Highway 51, 40% was going to head eastbound, heading out to southwest, and then 10% would be going throughout the subdivisions. However, that doesn't make sense to me because, again, that's the assumption that these traffics are going to go. And I pulled up the map. From this plot, if you go out to Smith Road, or South Highway 51, you're talking 2,051 feet to that intersection. If you go the opposite in the east direction, you're going 3,210 feet. So if I am a resident in this new development, why am I going to go eastbound and then go on to South 5th West, go 25 miles an hour, up South 5th West, and hit this intersection and go already where we have traffic? I'm going to go out to South Highway 51 because now I'm hitting 55, quicker, all these things. So this is where I'm saying is we have to start talking about this. Why isn't ITD here to talk about what we can be doing? I spoke to ITD. They're going to be redoing that stretch of highway, and with the rehab project and everything like that, we could be working together with them to figure out this so that we're not ending up with another Haskett and Air Base Road section. And then again, nobody new development has chipped in for that light, and then ITD is the bad guy, and then we have to go out for taxpayer dollars to pay for something where development should have been chipping in for it. I am glad to see that we're having some honest conversations about the sewer situation. It seems in the report that it was stated that, you know, we have the 1,500 EDUs minus what's been approved in that the new aeration is supposed to help with and everything like that, which is kind of lines with the 2015 report from Keller. So anyway, I've taken obviously enough too much time, but I do want to see this addressed because again, I think the development should be chipping in for this instead of the taxpayer down the road. So,
Brendan, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the hearing for this. Bonnie, I'll go ahead and bring you back up. Commission, questions, concerns, thoughts, ideas?
I think Mr. McCarthy brought up a good point about the traffic study and the date that it was done. Do we know when that was done?
It's on the actual.
Mr. Chairman, okay, so looks like some of the traffic counts that I have from the report were taken Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024 was when the traffic counts were taken. Showing typical traffic data for that time. So that was something that we had sent into IDD. That was not something that came back as a comment for us on that. Let's see. I know that there are some recommendations of the level of service. If I look at the traffic impact study, the executive summary section of that, there's already at Smith and State Highway 51, a southbound left turn lane is already something that's warranted for that. Let's see, and then according to our report, no improvements beyond that. Apologize, I haven't taken a look at your traffic impact study in a long time. I'm not sure what items are on that or what impact the projects there are in this area. As Brenda mentioned, the fees that we would be paying for that would contribute to some of those improvements as well.
Okay. Chris, can I put you on the spot?
Yeah.
With the impact fees and all of the concerns that you've heard about traffic in the roads, and specifically South Fifth West, and the amount of extra transportation that is currently happening out there due to development, are we looking at any kind of change, upgrade?
So, probably not the best person to speak about that, considering we were there, but I can tell you that we met a little over a year ago and we removed Smith Road from our impact fees because it is not within the city limits of the city of Mount Homer. We have no jurisdiction over that road. So it was determined that it was illegal for us to collect fees for that portion of the road.
Okay, so does that mean then that if it is being annexed, that road is not annexed into the city as well?
The road will be, it's annexed as development moves, yes.
So those parts that are,
But we can't put the cart before the horse.
okay. Okay.
And if I may clarify, obviously, we're required to, and I think Brenda covered it in her staff report, this section at least along our southern boundary will be improved for Smith Road there. So as Chris mentioned, as development happens, that road is improved, but I wasn't part of the greater conversation about the 51.
What about South Fifth? Any updates on that? South Fifth?
Or collecting impact fees. Collecting impact fees. There's no projects scheduled currently for improvements in the short term. It was identified in our master transportation plan as a road that does need improvements in the future. I did approach the city council trying to purchase some new equipment for the city to make those improvements that are reduced cost to the city and those makes it more difficult to reduce our fees on that. So and it is identified which we're all through.
Perfect. As long as I got that on record, that's good.
Got it?
I like it. Commission, anything else?
I have a question, Chair. It's more for Brenda. So we're looking at the developments now, and speaking of the traffic. So we had Morning Glory, we have Blue Yonder 1. How many, do you know ballpark how many houses were built in that back? I'm trying to do graphics in my head. Back off Smith Road, you got Morning Glory to the right. Then you got the development behind that, Rolling Hills, then Rolling Hills 2. You know how many homes in total? Because I want to say it's about 400, if not more, that have been developed in the last couple of years.
Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Ritter, are you referring to new development?
Yes, new development.
Morningview, Blue Yonder?
Yeah.
So Blue Yonder, I think Morningview, and I don't have those.
Yeah,
numbers in
just
front
kind of
me,
a
so I
guesstimate.
cannot give you an accurate number of homes. But Morningview was started developing in, I think, in 2019.
Okay.
And so they did just recently wrap up their final phase, I think, last year.
Yep.
So it is at complete build out currently. I think probably when this TIS was done, it was at least 3/4 of the way development, if not all, into its fourth phase. Rolling Hills has been there for several years and has been developed for a long time. The only other development off of my head that I can think of is Fall Creek, and they are at final plat and they haven't even begun building, and I think their first phase is like 26 homes. Outside of that, in that back corner, those are the developments. So Blue Yonder, Morning View is complete.
And then make a note, we also have Falcons Landing that just opened, I think in October or November of 2024. So when they did the traffic impact study, that had not been opened yet.
And there was an extra development or additional development on the backside of Falcon Landing 2. Or Falcon Landing.
That's coming up. They haven't, I think they just started breaking ground recently. In fact, I think I was there for that one. But I do not believe that they have actually started building yet. But it's coming.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you another question? How are we doing on the lagoons?
They're doing amazing this year, if you're asking about volumes. So we are at a point right now where, fortunate for the city, unfortunate for the farmer, we've had to turn the water off to the farmer because we're at levels that are so low that it's dangerous to the cells. The reason for that is that when the water, semi-clean water in the cells gets to a certain point, we take a risk of the liners bubbling. So we've had to curtail the amount of water we're able to discharge based on the dry winter that we had, the beach help, and then the manhole linings, which you're all aware we've been working on. We've added a few more to that this year. We've reduced about 300,000 gallons a day into that. We've taken 1.5 before all the projects were done to between 1 and 1.2 depending on the day. So that's made a huge difference. With the summer being as hot as it's been, we're seeing record numbers of evaporation possible cells as well. So there's a lot of things that are combined in there that we're doing well. All that being said, it's important to note that when we do an EDU count, the dry winter versus the wet winter don't impact or change the EDU count. The EDU count is what it is based on the capacity.
Right.
But I know there's been some confusion on that past. But right now we're doing well, and we anticipate that we continue to do better with the new mixer aerators that are coming in. We expect those to be installed by the end of September. They're built, we're waiting on some electrical stuff. And then finalized on the company's end, we've already received approval for that. So that's something that we anticipate will make a big difference, mainly because if we can keep the cells from freezing, We can continue the biological, the bugs, activity throughout the winter, which we typically lose. And we will not see a pond turnover through the winter and then again in the spring. So all of those factors are huge bonuses for us. We did have some struggles this early summer with grease, fog, fast oils and greases in our system. But we took some proactive steps. We closed our system currently to all septic haulers, which is the #1 reduction of grease. That's seen some pretty significant changes. The reason it's important, not only because of the smell, but the fast oils and greases kill the bugs. And we put about $20,000 worth of bugs in there and it killed them almost immediately. Not a great expenditure, so we shut it down. The more active the bugs are, the quicker the treatment is. The quicker the treatment is, the quicker we move the water from the front cells to the back cells and keep land application. Does that help?
Yep, nope, it does. Are you guys still planning on another cell, building another cell?
We have applied for 2 different sources of funding for the cell. We don't have the results on those yet. We got 3 things that we're kicking around. 2 of them involve the large cell, cell 10. It's about $12.8 million now. It's unfortunate because last year was a little less than that by $1 million or so. If neither one of the funding sources that we have come through, we have scribbled on paper, and it's literally it was scribbled on paper. The city will go in and we'll build our own cell. We won't be able to get the depth out of it that we would get if we were going with a construction company and doing the big, but it'd give us some capacity. The other thing that we're doing is we have met with Keller, which is the city's engineer, and we toured a couple of facilities up in the Boise area, specifically CUNA, because CUNA is doing it right. They're doing some things up there, and doing CSP's packing, and we've looked at some other areas, and we're having Keller address our wastewater master facility plan, and we're going to identify a transition from the lagoon system to a mechanical treatment system. So Keller, I'm waiting for them right now to give me their initial cost estimates. So redo the plan and then what it would look like to do a design for an expandable wastewater treatment facility that would be a game changer. There's some factors out there that we don't have answers to yet. We'd like to do rapid infiltration if we go that direction, but we're going to have some surveys done out there to determine whether or not the ground is suitable for rapid infiltration. We've also done some preliminary discussions on if we can bring the water to the Class A, could we utilize existing canal systems in the area for discharge? We do want to always keep our farm, so we want to kind of do a 50-50 split, more so in the summer to the farms, more so in the winter to the rapid infiltration. But we don't have any real cost estimates on that yet, but it's the direction that the city's going to have to go. City Council's been briefed on that. We know that that's the direction forward. So if we don't get cell 10, that's not a showstopper. Cell 10 has always been identified as a Band-Aid. We are moving the process forward of going mechanical quicker than what was originally identified in our facility plan.
Okay, great, thank you.
If I could also just clarify, in our traffic impact study, it does take in the background traffic growth from current developments that are in the process and proposed in the area. So I work with this traffic consultant a lot in the valley on other projects, and he's always looking at what's going on in the general area. So it's not just focused on what this is, what this one project will generate. The other comment that we heard from members in the community was water pressure out there. I know that on other projects, and I don't want to speak for staff, but typically when we, where you've got lines that kind of dead end, pressure can drop, and being able to loop the water lines help solve that problem in terms of getting the pressure back and some redundancy in there. And then maybe you can expand on that, but that's a typical comment that I hear, and that's something that staff typically says, yeah, this is going to help provide that redundancy and solve some of those problems.
Would you like me to throw a little more on that?
Do it.
So, and please, I understand, I hear all the issues. We get a lot of phone calls out in this area for low water pressure. Consistently, we go out there and we check the pressures, and it's somewhere between 80 and 1680 PSI, which is what our wells are set at, which is the standard that we're required to maintain. We've never, as Public Works, on the public system, identified an issue where there was pressure below 60. But, that being said, dead ends create a problem. The biggest issue that we see when we're talking about pressures in residential areas is that we don't control from the meter to the home, and that's where the pressure drops are being seen. So, on the positive side, fire hydrant systems that are in place for fire protection will always have a minimum of 60 PSI. The other thing that's important to note is that all of the well systems in the city of Mountain Home are tied together, and they are also tied into the 4 tanks that we have, and we have a SCADA system that monitors all the pressures in all the zones at all points in time. If we have a demand increase, the SCADA identifies it and it kicks on additional pumps, and if required, it can kick on our booster stations so that we do always have, we meet that peak demand. The biggest times we see it is in summer, in the mornings, when people are watering the grass, those pumps run consistently. We know they work well. I can't control between the meter and the house, and we've had people that had to put larger lines to their houses because there are pressure issues there, but it's not a pressure issue on our side.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. And correct me if I'm wrong, but did you have a birthday recently?
Possibly.
Happy birthday.
I tell everybody I look good for 65 and I'm only 55.
Commission, any other comments or questions?
Biggest thing, Chair, I'm wrapping my head around is the traffic, because just Fifth West is a disaster right now with traffic, and if Smith Road is not getting developed, and you add in 1,500 plus another, say 1,000 from the other subdivisions, so you're looking 2,500 estimate if people have 2 cars and some people have 3. That's what scares me the most on this project, is just the traffic, and since it's a year old, we can't talk to, even if it was 6 months old, we'll be able to have a better quantitative data points on it, because everything's been built up. Falcon Crest's been built up. Morning View's pretty much built up. Blue Yonder 1 is built up, and some of the other associated or adjacent houses have been built up. So we've gone on data that's a year old that doesn't really reflect the current situation. Then the point that we can't do anything to Smith Road because it's not, we own it now. With the meeting yesterday, with the, if I can speak freely, at the meeting yesterday, was that part of the new impact area?
It was part of the old impact area.
Oh, it's still, but we still can't do anything to it.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Even if it was in the area of impact, it's not something that we connect or collect fees on. It's in the area of impact, it's not within our boundaries.
Boundaries, okay.
So our impact fees would go to those things within the city, then that's not in the area of impact.
And if I may add, and it's a very valid concern to have. However, in my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is we will not have those, like Mr. McCarthy said, we can't just go as a city and say we're just going to go ahead and improve Smith Road so that we can have all of this growth, like be able to take care of this growth. Because as we know, the impact fees that they are paying are what basically pays for that to be done. And if they are not, if that area of Smith Road is not annexed in, then the city really can't touch it. So we're kind of in a catch-22 situation because we can't do anything until the growth happens. And I know we want to see it happen before the growth happens, but that's not how it works. It's like the tax base. We want more tax base to be able to pay for all these things, but growth needs to pay for growth.
My concern is not Smith. My concern is South Fifth West. That's my concern.
Yes.
And I know that that's within our impact area. So that's where my concern is. And if it's on the radar, and that was just recent, correct?
Brand new one.
Perfect. Okay. So as long as it's identified, that's, yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Can I ask what your concern with Smith Road is? Is it the maintenance of Smith Road? Is it?
That's not my concern. Smith's Road's not mine. That's
Or,
Billy's
I'm sorry,
concern.
Billy.
South Fifth West.
South Fifth has a ton of traffic, and I even myself going down there multiple times, and all the development that's down there, it needs to be looked at. Whether that's the widening of the road or the just a structural overlay of the road to make it more compatible with the amount of traffic that is currently going through there. That's my big concern, for sure. So.
We all share the same concern.
Yes.
Commission, if you don't have anything else, again, this is to rezone to the R4 planned unit development. And if this passes, we'll move on to the preliminary plat.
So, can I interject one?
Yep.
This might be a question for you, Mr. Schroeder. So, growth pays for growth, obviously. So, we get this built up, it becomes the cities, then with the burden, it's going to be the city burden to build Smith up then. That's kind of our catch-22 then.
I think the developer indicated that they would be responsible for improving that part of Smith Road that's adjacent to their property.
In compliance with our city code.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, so they would have to do those improvements.
And that's both lanes? Or just,
The center line. And the
Hey, can you bring the map up again,
other-
Brenda?
yeah, that's the kind of thing, it's like, yeah. So even if it got everything down Smith Road, say down to the intersection to 51, half of it's still gonna be county, and half is gonna be city, and, yeah, you know, that could work.
Show me the big map.
I'm sorry, Shane.
The bigger map, the one that actually go down. That one. Nope. Oh, up. And now I'm lost. Give me that. Back up. Right there. Stop. That second one. That one. Right there. Yep. Okay. Because I want to see what the development looks like on the other side of that. So. Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Mm-hmm.
The TIS did include Blue Yonder.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
If I may, Mr. Chair, on our preliminary plat, we did submit what that section, that improved section along Smith Road would look like. So from our property line over, we've got 20 feet of pavement, and then of course the curb and gutter. And then there'd be 10 feet, and then a detached sidewalk in there. So there's, you know, technically there's 2 drive lanes there along that.
In good faith, we did have a letter presented. Do we want to discuss that letter?
If you want, I sent Brenda an email minutes ago with everyone in the meeting saw it, so that will address, I think it kind of talks about this issue with Autumn Road.
Okay, so
Read the letter.
I will. So again, bear with me. The letter states, "Good evening, my name is Gerald Hahn. If I mispronounced your name, I apologize. I am the principal upon development, and I am the property owner directly to the north of the proposed site for the new Blue Yonder subdivision. I'm writing today to discuss the impact of the proposed development and the future of the Southwest Autumn Avenue. Autumn Avenue is directly to the west of both our property and the Blue Yonder site. Although the subject property does not use Autumn Road for either ingress or egress, its proximity to Autumn and the increase in residents and traffic should bring this road into discussion when making such significant changes for future development. This road, or right-of-way, was dedicated in 1973. The right-of-way is 40 feet wide and extends from Smith Road from the south to Air Base Road to the north. The established road is currently used by over 15 different homeowners and is the only access to these households located on Southwest Autumn. In our planning for use of our property, we too looked at potential access to Southwest Autumn Road, which would reduce the traffic through the existing subdivision to the east. As our team began planning our site, it became clear that neither the city nor the county currently has any intentions of accepting the existing right-of-way and becoming owners of this existing gravel road. Although both governmental agencies have no interest today, I believe the need may change over time. This right-of-way serves existing homes and could serve future developments to the north. At this point in planning, I feel strongly that we should leave the door open for future assignments or of the right-of-way so one day Autumn could become a paved street, owned and operated by either the city or the county. Accordingly, I respect the request that the city planners evaluate the future right-of-way width, which is presently set at 40 feet, and consider incorporating an adjustment into the proposed plans for both the Blue Yonder property and future plans for my own property. Specifically, I propose assigned an additional right-of-way and utility easement on the east side of the existing road. This modification would facilitate the establishment of utility and right-of-way easements in anticipation of future growth to the north, as well as support the potential acceptance of the right-of-way by either governmental entity. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I'd also like to add, sent in an email from the gentleman. He feels as though the city should consider the need for the extra 10 feet for potential future road construction as well as the easement along Autumn to allow for power to go north on Autumn in the future.
Hi, Jeff.
Okay. So here's the deed of dedication. It's basically Northwest Properties dedicated, grant and conveyed a right-of-way for a public road, more particularly described as follows. And it basically starts at a section line, section corner. It goes to the east 20 feet, and it goes all the way south, and then it's 20 feet on either side of that. It's 40 feet. Now here's the thing that's important to know. You scroll down just a little bit. Now the other down. Then the up.
Stop, tell
Can I
me
do
to
this?
stop.
Am I allowed?
Yeah, it is a touch screen, so you can move it.
Oh, sweet.
But I'm only good at it. So here's their base. Okay, so when they made this dedication, the owners owned all this. They owned this, all this property. And they granted this 40-foot easement, and it's outside, who's moving this? You did. It's all outside the city limits. The city boundary is right here. The entire thing is 40-foot width, and it is to the benefit of, and exists solely for the benefit of these property owners. It's their road. And as we saw the first time this came up a few years ago, I don't know if they're split completely in half, but half of them want the city or county to take it, and the other half want nobody else driving on it, because it's their road. So it's not a through road, and so, let's see. In order to get any more land on that roadway, these landowners would have to concede to doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They would, the first order of business, in order for the city to have anything to do with monkeying with that road, would be for the property owners that own the road to annex into the city. And I guess you're gonna have less than half and half. You're probably gonna have nobody wanting to do that. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I know, Will Farrell, he was the air gardener, drew about a 46 Chevy truck with him and drove from there over. Anyway. The road, and it's, in the wintertime, I mean, I see the problem, but it's not ours. We can't, and I confirmed with Ms. Layton and others, there's no access here, but the only way, there's no way the city can get any more footage out of that because it's not a city street. The letter writer is absolutely correct in that this thing would be incredibly useful for development and traffic loads, but it's incumbent on these property owners who, these parcels were sold out after this deed of dedication was made. So they have a right to use this road, and they also have a right to exclude people from using this road who aren't them. So, which is why I think the one we approved before has bollards that you can't just cowboy across there and drive on their road. So I don't know about the county or the highway district accepting it. That could be an issue, but the city hasn't in any, so.
Perfect.
That's, this comes up, well, it's only the second time. The first time was a real fun one because the county was misinterpreting this legal description, the county planner was, and I was getting emails from the county's attorney. They were like, that road's in this subdivision. I can't do this.
I was wondering when he was gonna concede.
It's been fun watching you try.
So you have to read this carefully. So it starts at the corner, and if you go back to the plat map or her project map we were looking at, can you go back to that one we were just on where we were looking at Smith Road? Anyway, it says start there, go over 20 feet, and then 20 feet on either side of that line. See there? That shows it it shows it as a road, but you'll notice it's not set out as it's not a platted road. So it's just a dedicated right-of-way or an easement. So the owners of this property still own in fee simple all the way to their boundary line. They just have to permit their fellow property owners to drive on it. That's the structure of that, the legal status of that road. So,
And it is noted as a private road.
Yeah.
Perfect.
there you go.
Okay. Just want to make sure we discuss everything.
I had to, just wanted everyone to see the same thing I'm looking at.
Thank you.
That was something, commissioners, just when we worked with staff, this was another one of those where we were told it's private, so our plans were developed in that regard. We're not showing step streets to those parcels or anything that was specifically requested. So we've got some access for water and sewer connections in the future potentially, but yeah. Our
Perfect.
plans were developed. I also did receive a call from the gentleman and conveyed to him that we had worked with staff.
Thank you.
Also, his concerns were with power, but the roadway easement will provide power up to that parcel once developed. As well as water sewer.
Okay. Commission, if you don't have any other questions, I'm looking for an emotion to approve the rezone to R4 planned unit development. Please, Rob.
Mr. Commissioner,
Oh, wait, read it.
I knew it. Mr. Commissioner, make a motion to approve PZ 2510, the rezone to R4 PUD for Blue Yonder West subdivision as written with all improvements noted within.
Do we want to add now comply with review from Keller on development plans? Okay, so you need to restate that with the comply with review from Keller in the development plans.
Oh, I was counting that. Okay. Okay, Mr. Commissioner, recommend approving application PZ 25-10, rezoned of R4 PUD for Blue Yonder West subdivision as written with consideration for Keller.
Comply with review.
Comply with review. Thank you. Does that cover everything?
From Keller
It said Keller to begin with.
in development plans.
In development. From Keller in development.
Plans.
Planning.
I got a first one, Rob.
Second.
I got a second.
Yeah, I'll go Christina this time. All right, Christina, I'm starting with you.
Aye.
Really?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Aye for me as well. Passes. Okay. Thirdly, we have a preliminary plat for the Blue Yonder West subdivision, open door rentals and endurance holdings. Request by Ms. Bonnie Layton of NV5 on behalf of the Open Door Rentals LLC Endurance Holdings LLC for the approval of preliminary plat for the Blue Yonder West subdivision. The development will consist of a total of 398 lots and will provide for a mix of lot sizes ranging from 34 to 92 feet in width, providing a total of 376 dwelling units. The development will consist of 11.45 areas of common area open space, designed and landscaped with drought-tolerant planting and a large park, several micro pathways, as well as a variety of pocket parks, playground, and tot lot areas and sport court. The applicant is seeking a deviation from the bulk coverage and the standards. The parcel, this word, I swear. that parcels comprising this development are located north of the adjacent Smith Road, east of the adjacent Autumn Road, west and south of Southwest Rolling Hills Avenue, and west of the Edward Street. Okay, Rhoda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am not going to read the entire
Please don't.
statute.
Please don't.
But all that was mentioned within the PUD, all of those transfer over to the preliminary plat. The preliminary plat is compliant with city code with regards to its submittal,
Perfect. Thank you.
and it's compliant with the PUD agreement. So.
Okay. I will open it up for public hearing on this one. If you've already spoken to your concerns, and it goes with this, we hear you. If anybody has anything new that they would like to discuss. New? Go ahead, Brendan, come on up. It is a public hearing, my man.
Brendan McCarthy, I think it needs to be kind of addressed. I know that there's not supposed to be duplicate testimony, but for the record, we had a whole discussion with the Impact the Advisory Committee. Legal counsel, Jeff Schroeder was there. You can do impact fees for Smith Road. It has to be an intergovernmental agreement. I spoke with Mountain Home Highway District. They had talked about it. We had ITV show up in our meeting. There's ways to do it. You can even do a late crimes agreement. This isn't just some, we can't do it, because what's gonna happen is you're gonna get all the way out to here, the intersection's gonna be failed, and you're gonna have no money for it. So I would like to set the record straight. I know, Mr. Chair, that no duplicate testimony, but this is what happens when we don't bring in Mountain Home Highway District, ITD, and have all these discussions to get the facts straight. Because it can be done. Ada County Highway District does it all the time. Ask legal. If legal told us in our impact fee committee, it can be done. There's ways to do it. It's just sitting down and figuring it out. It's not a simple cut dry, it's out of city service. That's not what the Idaho code says. It says service area. That's why it gives for the intergovernmental agreements. It frustrates me because, like again, we can't sit down and have these conversations to get the expertise from the people who deal with this all the time. We had our meeting and lo and behold, we're finding out that we have to do a waiver with ITD for Haskett and Airbase Road. Because it doesn't follow Idaho rules. But we're collecting impact fees for it. What's gonna happen when we don't get that waiver? Now we're gonna have to give all those impact fees back. So this is what I'm saying is, why can't we sit down and get the real expertise and bring people in to give the true information instead of, well, it's outside city limits, we can't do it. That's what we were told 2 years ago. Then it was, oh, there's no growth out there. So that's the frustrating part, is we just have all these excuses. And it's one of these that we need to do our homework. Because once again, you're gonna have another Haskett, City View Drive is another example of this. All these things come from not having these conversations with the parties that need to be having, instead of just, yeah, this is what it is. So, I appreciate the leeway, I just wanted to set the record straight on this.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Can I ask a question, Chair?
Wait until we're done. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing on that. Bonnie, come on up.
Thank you again, Commissioners. This is not a new issue for me on projects like this. I do a number of projects this size over in the valley. It's growing at a breakneck speed. I do want to point out in the ITD staff report, so we work with ITD on a lot of different projects, and they have their own traffic counts, and they will assess, just like staff does, is this in line with what we're thinking or what we're seeing? In ITD's staff report, they looked at this and they said, they made a recommendation, we have to install the southbound turn lane. They gave us specifications for that. They said, in the event, this was in their staff report, in the event that the approved encroachment permit is not obtained within 1 year, that we may need to come back for an updated TIS to reflect the current traffic conditions. This is a long-term build-out. You know, there's over 300 units. We're saying it's going to be 30 units per year. So there are some things that can change. In other projects of this size, what we've done in the past is there's a condition that says an updated TIS memo, not necessarily a full-blown updated report, but just a memo to submit to staff, say at the 100th building permit or the 200th one, just to make sure the conditions are tracking along and things haven't drastically changed. I think is a pretty fair and balanced way to address the concerns of the community, and then and also protect the developer in terms of making sure that they are that they're being required to do improvements, but not more than their share. So it's a balanced way to look at that, and I think we would be in agreement with that. Like I said, it's already in the ITD staff report that may be required anyways. So just wanted to let you know that's how we've addressed it in the past with other communities.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Commissioner?
The one question I had, just to reflect on Brandon's comments, didn't we have an impact joint session scheduled last month or month before that got canceled?
That has been dissolved.
Do what?
That has been dissolved,
Or
from
was
what I
it?
remember. Jeff?
I don't know those details. I know that meeting was canceled. I don't have any information on the rest, but I can answer your question about the, if you had one about what
Yeah.
Chairman McCarthy and what Mr. Curtis said about impact fees
Mhm.
applying there. So Chairman McCarthy's correct and Mr. Curtis is correct. They're both correct at the same time. They're both correct at the same time because of this. The legal standing right now of the impact fees that the city collects are limited to within city limits. The streets that the city is responsible for. Chairman McCarthy's alluding to is the fact that he's reached out to ITD and the Mountain Home Highway District. Those are the entities responsible for Highway 51 and Smith Road. In order for us to be able to collect and assess development impact fees for development that would contribute to an improvement on Smith Road, the Mountain Home Highway District has to have a capital improvement plan that includes the traffic light at Highway 51. They also have to have the capital improvement plan for Smith Road. And then they have to ask us to adopt that capital improvement plan and enter into an intergovernmental agreement. So the question as to whether or not the city cannot expend current impact fees in its capital improvement plan on Smith Road until those portions of Smith Road come inside the city limits, which should Mr. McCarthy's dialogue with the highway district prove fruitful, and the highway district and the city would agree to get into an intergovernmental agreement, then you could collect impact fees. So that's the actual status.
And I also do want to clear for the record that our application was sent out. We're required to send it to all of the agencies. So I think there was a comment like they're not here in the discussion, but they are aware, and so I just want to be clear. That's part of the requirements for our application is that we send out notices to all of those agencies, so they are in the loop and see this on the radar. So I just want to make sure that was clear for the record as well.
And if my math serves me well, you're looking at a 10-year build.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be dependent on market conditions.
Right.
Should we get approved, and then we're working through the eastern side, and then we would move into this phase. The first phase of this project would be building the sewer lift station. So that's a pretty big upfront expense for us to do that in the first phase of this project. So.
Well, Mr. Chairman, one more
Mhm.
legal. So with respect to timing regarding Smith Road improvements or the city's capital improvement plan regarding those streets or the potential for an intergovernmental agreement, the impact fees that have to be assessed and paid are those impact fees that are lawfully placed at the time of So in other words, it isn't necessarily a cart before the horse, because you could hook the cart to the horse. At the time the building is made. So if Mr. McCarthy's efforts to get into an intergovernmental agreement with the Mountain Highway District are successful, those impact fees could come up online at the time the building permits, theoretically.
Okay. Perfect. Commissioner, anything else? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Please. Okay.
You're gonna mess me up. To make a motion to approve preliminary plat for Blue Yonder West subdivision, open door and Dan's Holdings for PZ 25-12.
All right, first by Billy.
I'll second that.
All right, Bill, I'm sorry with you.
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Christina?
Aye.
Aye for me as well. Motion passes. Before we move on to the next two, Brendan, I do want to say that your efforts with the mountain home, wow, help me.
Impact Advisory Committee.
Impact.
Yes, I hope it goes well. I know that that's frustrating and it can be, but I hope that you continue to be a voice. That's important. So I appreciate you coming in and sharing your thoughts and sharing everything that you have here. I would also encourage you to share the same to your city council. I mean, we are only one and we suggest, right? So I also encourage you to share that with the city council as well. That's important. So I appreciate your efforts. So thank you. All right, number 4. Commission, does anybody go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, Commission, can we get a 5-minute recess?
Okay.
Yes, it's fine. It's a thing.
Okay.
Okay, 5-minute recess.
Another water.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Bonnie, thank you. Thank you. Okay, where am I at with everything now? I got so many things now. Okay, we're done with that, done with that. Done with that. And there we go. Okay.
Are you finally older than me or no? So you finally older than me or no? Just barely.
Don't look a day over 40.
Just barely.
Yeah.
I know you're lying, but I appreciate it anyway.
Oh, you can't pause the light? Okay, that's fine.
We're on a recess, right? So don't talk about anything embarrassing. Maybe I should look at my notes. I should probably let my wife know that Connor might have it.
Hey, is there any news about our open chair? No? Okay.
I've not heard anything.
Okay.
What Mr. McCarthy was describing could be put in place, it could have a trigger clause, but then it could not. It could be preempted, like, what I'm asking.
It's been a while. I'm surprised. I mean,
Nobody puts in for it.
For what?
Make a blanket agreement that covers
For anybody's put in for it.
for the chair.
Oh,
Because you've got to seek a limit.
But the mayor came to me and had a conversation about movements. Yeah.
Kind of like the one that we're still trying to do with the county and ambulance impact. The service area, they would have to define.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I can't do that. Do you have gum?
Yeah.
You remember?
I think that's where that one is going that way. Or it's still going?
Rechargeable or?
No, they're just those regular batteries and generic ones that come in with the.
Oh. Thank you.
No worries.
Maybe I can just talk
can make it simpler and just do a quick-timers agreement for the developer.
The Fifth West is gonna be disaster down there. Fifth West is gonna be.
It'll be dangerous if I have more.
I saw a Mercedes sedan pulling a dump trailer in Seattle today. That's awesome.
Go to England. See those things towing like caravans.
Really?
Yes. Like
Oh, caravans.
full on freaking trailers.
Exactly, it's not.
Okay. Commissioner, you ready to keep going?
Nope.
All right.
I don't know if that jump.
We're back in order. We have an action item to amend an R4 planned unit development for the Turner House Depot from the Gin Group. It's a request to amend the please bear with me again. It's a request to amend the previously approved planned unit development, PUD PZ-21-27, of Turner House Depot, requested by the Gin Group LLC. The amended plan results in a total of 287 residential units. The original submittal consisted of 288 units. This is a decrease of 1 unit from the original plan. The amended Turner House Depot will consist of approximately 237 detached single-family homes, an increase of 2 units from the original approved plan, 50 two-story primarily attached townhomes, an increase of 17 units from the original approved plan. This development will contain a mix of 1 and 2-story units and a mix of 2 and 3 bedroom units. There will be 1 commercial lot of approximately 10,000 square feet to accommodate a building of roughly 3,200 square feet. This commercial lot will replace the previously approved 22 two-story live-work style townhomes as the commercial component. There will be a 1-story community building, common open space with playground, sports courts, dog park, walking paths, and other enhanced green space. In addition, the community building and main community open space has been relocated to a central location within the community and will be owned and maintained by an HOA. This development is located on the west side of Elmcrest Street and south of Northwest Marathon Way. Brenda,
Mr. Chair, I just want to thank you for doing my job for me.
you are so welcome.
I think that's kind of it.
Perfect.
So, as you might remember, I don't know if Paul was here when the original planned unit development came forward for Turner House Depot, but it did have the 288. 22 of those were live-work units, and so that was a component that planning and zoning at the time and city council at the time found desirable for the area, and to start bringing in some type of commercial development at this location. Since then, and Turner House Depot has moved forward with the final plat for their phase 1, and they wanted to amend it, and then they brought forward their amended their amended TUD. Then they took out the live-work units, and they wanted to strictly do just the residential component. Planning and zoning did approve that amended request, and at city council level, they still wanted to see some form of commercial component in Turner House Depot. And so therefore they did remand the amendment back to planning and zoning to put that commercial component back into it. What they have chosen is to put the commercial pad in the kind of the middle of the development on the north side there along Marathon Way, and that is where that commercial lot will be, and I believe it's like a 3,200 square foot pad that they proposed there. They have multiple uses that would be allowed within there, and I believe this lot would be owned by the HOA as well. We'll confirm that with the applicant when they come up to speed. Aside from that, there's not a lot of changes from it. They exceed the parking within the development. The lot sizes are 1,750 square feet for an attached townhome and 2,100 square feet for the detached home. So they did include, I think, a synopsis of the traffic impact study again, and the traffic will be going down slightly, so there will be no mitigation issues with regards to that. So in addition to that, to the amended plan, water, sewer, streets, fiber, fire. They have no additional comments. Fire did require them to name the public alleyways where the front side access will be taken from. They have complied with that. Let's see. And then the impact fees will be subject at the time of building permit issuance. And it is in compliance with the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, honestly, it seems pretty straightforward, so. I'll go ahead and bring up the applicants. Good evening.
Good evening. Mr. Chairman, planning commissioners. My name is Phil Wiest. I'm with Ginn Group. We're located in Vancouver, Washington at 502 Northeast 72nd Street, Vancouver, Washington, 98665. I don't have a lot to add to what Mr. Chairman, you read and what Brenda described. I just want to reemphasize this. Essentially, this exact same plan was in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission last summer about this time. My colleague Phillips was here. I wasn't for that. And when we got to council, the only change is just the addition of this commercial component. City Council wanted the commercial component as part of the project. We put it here thinking that it would be accessible internally from the development off of Marathon Way, and it would have the best chance for success there. Whether it's owned by the HOA or somebody private, I don't yet know. We had an economist do a study for us that we presented to City Council at the hearing last fall. Because Airbase Road is just to the south and has a lot of retail and commercial on it, the study showed that developing this site as a commercial parcel didn't seem economically viable at the time. Essentially, what we're doing here is preserving the opportunity for it to be developed commercially in the future. So for the time being, Ginn Group will continue to own it. If and when it's time for commercial development, that's when that parcel would develop. And I'm not sure yet whether it would be owned by the HOA or a private party. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I also just want to introduce yourself. Sure.
I'm Van Elch with JUB Engineers, Land Development Group Lead there, and I don't have anything more to add. The engineering is sound. We've not made any significant changes to the engineering for this plan.
Perfect, gentlemen. I'll go ahead and have you go ahead and sit back, and I'll go ahead and open it up for a public hearing. This is for the amended R4 planned unit development. Again, we're just increasing 2 units for detached home, losing 1 unit, creating a commercial lot, and also approving 22 two-story, which will replace the 22 work-story lib. So, anybody? I like fast ones. Go ahead and close that down. And gentlemen, if you want to come up, you can stay there. If you want, Commissioner, you have any questions? Okay, I like that too. Then I will look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to amend the Turner House Depot R4 PUD Plan Unit Development PZ 24-31.
All right, first by Billy,
Second.
second by Christina. Rob?
Aye.
Billy?
All right.
Christina?
Aye.
Aye from me as well. Okay. Do I have to read all that again? It's the exact same
He's like,
thing.
no.
No?
You didn't have to read the whole thing to begin with.
Copy and paste.
Okay. The next action item is to amend the preliminary plat for the Turner House, and I apologize for mispronouncing the Ginn Group. I'll get it right this time. And everything I mentioned last time. So if you want the notes, you'll have them. Brenda.
So yeah, the preliminary plat is compliant with the city code, and it does match the conditional use, not conditional use, the final development agreement.
Perfect. And again, I will open it up for a public hearing. I love you all. Thank you so much. Closing that public hearing. Commission, questions?
No, sir.
I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the amendment of the Turner House Depot R4 PUD preliminary plat PZ 24-30.
Got it first.
Second.
Second by Rob. Michelle?
Aye.
Billy? Rob?
Aye.
Aye for me as well. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening and doing all of that wonderful stuff. We have no new business, no old business. Any questions on the department head items today?
Negative.